Dear students, if you remember, we had started reading the prose piece Karma. We have already read up to the middle of page 16. Sir Mohanlal, who wants to imitate the British, is taking rest in a first-class waiting room. From his conversation with the mirror, we get an idea of the person. He hates the Indians. He is contemptuous of anything Indian, and he is an admirer of the British, their language, their customs, their culture. He hates his motherland. He hates his compatriots. But his wife Lakshmi is a foil to him. A foil means directly opposite. She is not a snob like him. She can easily mix with the commoners. She can mix with the bearer, she can mix with the coolie. Sir Mohanlal would never mix with the coolie or the bearer, would never chat with them. But Lady Lal had no such reservations. She chatted with the bearer and then she started chatting with the coolie. And from the coolie she came to know that though all the compartments would be crowded, the ladies' compartment, the zenana, that would stop at the end of the platform would not be crowded. Then Lady Lal decided that she would take her meal before boarding the train. Lady Lal opened the brass carrier and took out a bundle of cramped chapatis and some mango pickle. So this was the food taken out by Lady Lal. What did she take? She took chapatis. Chapati means the breads, the rotis that are handmade. Hate gora roti, but those were cramped. That means they were crumpled. Kishuta kuchke gache because they had been kept in the tiffin carrier. And she also took out some mango pickle. That means she ate the chapatis with mango pickle. While she ate, the coolie sat opposite her on his haunches. To sit on one's haunches, that means to sit on one's hips. Ubu hoye bosha. The coolie sat on his hips and drawing lines in the gravel with his finger. Gravel. Gravel means small pieces of stone. Small pieces of stone lay scattered about the platform, and the coolie was drawing lines in it. Are you traveling alone, sister? Then the coolie became curious and wanted to know if Lady Lal was traveling alone. Actually, women in India, at least in those days, did not travel alone. No, I am with my master, brother. And Lady Lal replied cordially that she was with her master. Here the master refers to husband. In those days, in the Indian society, the husband was looked upon as master. So this very obnoxious idea, was in vogue in those days, and I cannot tell that it is not in vogue today also. In many parts of India, the husband is looked upon as the master. This is patriarchy. Etai Pitritantra. He is in the waiting room, and Lady Lal informed the coolie that her husband was in the waiting room. He travels first class. He is a vizier and a barrister. Vizier is actually a Persian word. It at a Farsi shabdo, ujir. It means minister or a high official. So her husband was an important government official and a barrister. A barrister is a lawyer who has passed from London. London থেকে যিনি ওকালতি পাশ করে আসেন তিনি হচ্ছেন ব্যারিস্টার. So her husband was an important government official and a barrister and meets so many officers and Englishmen. Many officers, many Englishmen come to meet Sir Mohanlal. and I am only a native woman. Native means belonging to the country. Here it means Indian. And Lady Lal was just an Indian woman. I can't understand English and don't know their ways. Lady Lal cannot speak English. Lady Lal does not understand English. So I keep to my Zenana interclass, and that is why Lady Lal travels interclass, whereas her husband travels first class. We get another aspect of Sir Mohanlal's character. Sir Mohanlal is such a snob that he does not allow his wife to travel first class with him. তার সঙ্গে নিজের স্ত্রীকে তিনি ফার্স্ট ক্লাসে নিয়ে যান না, because he is ashamed that his wife does not speak English or cannot understand English. Such is his inferiority complex, তার এমনই হীনমন্যতা বোধ that he does not allow his wife to travel with him. That's why Sir Mohanlal travels first class, but his wife travels interclass. Lakshmi chatted away merrily. To chat away means to go on talking. Merrily means in a delighted manner. Lakshmi went on talking in a delighted manner. She was fond of a little gossip and had no one to talk to at home. Gossip, that means idle talk. Lady Lal, like other Indian women, wanted to talk idly with others. She wanted to indulge in idle talk, but unfortunately she had no scope to speak at home. Her husband never had any time to spare for her. Sir Mohanlal was indifferent to his wife. তিনি তার স্ত্রীর প্রতি উদাসীন ছিলেন. He never came and talked with her. She lived in the upper story of the house and he on the ground floor. It was a two-storied house and Lady Lal lived on the upper story. তিনি দোতলায় থাকেন, ওপরের তলায়, and Mr. Mohanlal lived on the ground floor. That means husband and wife lived in different stories of the house. He did not like her poor illiterate relatives hanging around his bungalow, and Mr. Mohanlal did not like his in-laws. In-law মানে শ্বশুর বাড়ির লোকেদের. He did not like his in-laws because his in-laws were not so educated like him. They were not so rich like him. They were poor. They did not have education. So Mr. Mohanlal looked down upon them and did not want them to hang around his bungalow. To hang around means to loiter about. That means to wander about aimlessly. That means to visit his bungalow. He did not allow his in-laws to visit his bungalow. He did not like them. He did not like that his in-laws would visit his bungalow. So they never came. They also understood Sir Mohanlal's dislike. So Lakshmi's, that means Lady Lal's parents, brothers, sisters never visited their bungalow. Lady Lal was very alone. You understand the plight of Lakshmi. তার অবস্থাটা তোমরা বুঝতে পারছো. She was neglected by her husband. She was not allowed to meet her relatives. He came up to her once in a while at night and stayed for a few minutes. He just ordered her about in anglicized Hindustani. Sometimes Mr. Mohanlal visited his wife, but at that time he acted like a master to the servant. He spoke in Hindustani, but it was anglicized Hindustani. That means he spoke Hindustani in an English accent. তিনি ইংরেজরা যেভাবে উচ্চারণ করে সেইভাবে তিনি হিন্দুস্তানি উচ্চারণ করতেন. He spoke Hindustani in an English accent and she obeyed passively, and Lakshmi's role was that of a passive servant. She did not. Her only duty was to take orders from her husbands and do likewise. তার নির্দেশ অনুসারে কাজ করা. These nocturnal visits had, however, borne no fruit. Nocturnal is an adjective, means related to night. These night visits had not borne any fruit. That means had not yielded any result. That means the relationship between Sir Mohanlal and his wife had not been normalized. তাদের মধ্যে সম্পর্কটা স্বাভাবিক হয়নি. In spite of these visits, there was a barrier between husband and wife. স্বামী স্ত্রীর মধ্যে ব্যবধানটা রয়েই গেছিল. The signal came down, and the clanging of the bell announced the approaching train. In those days, when the train entered the platform, a bell was rung. So the clanging of the bell, that means the sound of the bell, made Lakshmi understand that the train was arriving. Lady Lal hurriedly finished off her meal. Hurriedly, that means hastily, taratari. She got up, still licking the stone of the pickled mango. Stone. Stone means the seed of a fruit. Amer atita ekhane. So she licked the stone of the pickled mango. She emitted a long, loud belch as she went to the public tap to rinse her mouth and wash her hands. Belch. Belch means an activity that when the air comes out through the mouth. Dhekur tola. Belch is a noun, belch is also a verb. So Lady Lal emitted a belch. That means she belched loudly. It is a typical Indian habit. And then she went to the public tap to rinse her mouth. To rinse, that means to wash with water. She also washed her hands. After washing, she dried her mouth and hands with the loose end of her sari. She did not keep any handkerchief. She dried her mouth and her hands with the loose end of her sari. Sharir aachol diye tini hath mukh muche nilen and walked back to her steel trunk. If you remember, Lady Lal was sitting on the steel trunk. So she went back to her steel trunk, belching and thanking the gods for the favor of a filling meal. She was a God-fearing woman. She was deeply religious. So she thanked God for providing her with a good meal. So we find that Sir Mohanlal and Lady Lal were completely opposite in nature, and apparently their looks were also different. Whereas Sir Mohanlal was dressed in expensive dress, Lady Lal wore just a white sari with a red border, and that was also a dirty sari. And whereas nature is concerned, Sir Mohanlal was a highbrow, tini unnashik, but Lady Lal or Lakshmi was a very simple woman and she could mix with others. So read up to this point and we will continue it in our next class. Thank you.